Girl. Yeah, I couldn't get video, but McLovin was actually scared of a dog that was like half her size, which I don't think she's ever seen that.
McLovin, you're in New Mexico. First time in New Mexico. How does it feel?
So yeah, finally got out of the Texas Panhandle after like a week, which is crazy. Every time I've storm chased, like having to go across like another state or two or three in a day, almost every day. But yeah, I start the chase in northeastern New Mexico in Logan, New Mexico. It was just a supercell, and then it started moving south toward Tucumcari, New Mexico, and that's where I'm at right now. And storms are kind of popping up and merging with it everywhere, and the storm gets pretty crazy. So this was again not the ideal setup for me personally. I prefer a discrete supercell or isolated supercell that's easier to navigate. This was pretty clearly becoming a mess, and there was strong rotations developing within these merging storms, and you can see the gust nados developing, and pretty soon here I have a pretty close encounter with one. I wasn't really sure. I saw debris spinning, and I saw spinning, and I wasn't sure it was developing tornado. That was my first instinct, but I did pay attention and noticed that it was coming right to me, so I get out of the way. Now, video doesn't do justice here. None of the video really does, but it was pretty close. And yeah, so I got out of the way. Yeah, in hindsight, I probably could have just let it go over me maybe, but I just didn't know at the time.
Oh, God. Dude, 2 semis.
Wow, McLovin wants to stay in her little backpack for this one. Yeah, some semis know what they're doing. They're waiting for the storm to pass, which is smart. I'm amazed at how many of these storms I've just seen semis just driving right into it, like no care in the world. Yeah, so I'm on the west side of the storm, which was hard for me just to stay still because the storms just kept popping up and merging, and the rotation kept changing. And I was, trying to stay on the outside. I wasn't trying to get in there and get my rental car, tore up. So, like some storm chasers did, they got some good video, but some got actually hurt, windows blown out and stuff like that. So this was a very intense storm. Honestly, the video doesn't do justice. The winds were what made it intense, and as you can see, my dog was even scared. Now, there were several tornadoes reported from now until the evening, and I'm not sure. I think I may have got some on video toward the evening, but nothing super close. I was trying to stay on the outer edge of the storm, and it was just a massive storm with just several storms merged into it. Now, at this point, I'm about to head southeast to intercept the southwestern part of the storm and get closer to it. So I know there was a tornado reported up here, and having watched Reed Timmer's live stream after this, it looks like the tornado was up on the plateau that you'll see up here, where you can kind of see the clouds coming down on top of the plateau, and I zoom in on it, but unfortunately I think I was too low at this point to actually see the tornado. You can probably see the rotation here. But you'll see it here in a bit. You'll see the plateau, and you'll see the clouds kind of going down into it. And this is what I was talking about. Now at this point, I'm on the east side of the storm, heading south on it, and I think Grady was maybe 10 miles or so to my east, and they had at least a couple tornadoes that were reported around that area. So yeah, I think from here and into the evening that I probably got some tornadoes. Unfortunately, it's not really clear a lot of times in these lightning strikes, and especially at night what the shapes are, but you make your judgment for yourself. There are definitely tornadoes reported. I can kind of see where the tornado likely would have been at times. I just don't want to say for sure it was a tornado. I think I've learned when I'm still learning, but when I first was storm chasing, especially at night, I swear I thought everything was a tornado. But yeah, I generally try to keep my camera on where the rotation is and where the tornado would likely form. So, of course, this was just a crazy storm, though, and the rotations just kept changing as the storms kept growing and merging. But yeah, it wasn't my ideal setup. Actually, the next day, I risked the more certain good storms and potential tornadoes to try to get an isolated, discrete supercell, and I busted. But I was just like, I'm so tired of these messy merging storms and having to move all the time. I really wanted an isolated supercell. So yeah, from here on out, it's I'm heading southeast, kind of, as the storm's moving southeast, and I believe the closest I get is around Melrose, New Mexico. And there were definitely tornadoes reported. It was reported that it was pretty rain wrapped, but I think I get some really good lightning strikes that you can kind of make out the shape of it. I'm not the best photographer, I'm learning a lot storm chasing each year I go, and it would be nice to have a storm chase partner that can help with photography and yeah, I'm just using my cell phone and a GoPro 10, which takes some great videos, but I think sometimes I'd like to zoom in a little bit more and get a little bit clearer shots, and so I probably should look into getting a better camera. But yeah, the GoPro, I'm also learning how to do time lapse. At the very end of this video, I practiced a time lapse with my GoPro 10, and it turned out pretty cool. So I'm gonna have to get more familiar with how to do that, and maybe next year when I go, I'm planning to take my daughter, and hopefully I can get some good time lapses, and hopefully I can get some isolated supercells that weren't as crazy as this one. So again, I feel like I almost had to have seizures, like trying to edit these clips with all the lightning, but it's hard to make out the shapes a lot of times. Sometimes the lightning is really good. I can kind of see the structure. I can kind of see the horseshoe shape where the RFD is going into and is going up, and then I can kind of know where the tornado would likely be in that situation. And So, sometimes the shapes are probably the tornado, but it's again, I don't like really saying with certainty because it's so dark and there's a lot of shapes and it's a crazy storm. And yeah, but there were definitely tornadoes reported here. So yeah, and I got a couple minutes here, but yeah, I could share a little bit about my background. I don't have a degree in meteorology. I probably should have got one. I'm actually a social worker, but I've always been into nature and tornadoes. And I'd say, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, I started really considering trying to learn and potentially storm chase, and not really necessarily storm chase, but I was learning a lot about it and about forecasting. And then I went on a storm tour and saw my first tornado in Kansas, and I was like, man, I wish I could have gotten closer. I wish I could have stayed a little bit longer when we saw it. And I was like, you know, I can do this. Like, I learned a lot from the tour guide, and then I could just continue to learn. Watched a bunch of like lectures, college lectures by Rich Thompson, and watched a ton of videos over and over by Skip Talbot and professionals on how to forecast and chase and what to look for. And you know, I'm still learning a lot, but yeah, but I've been going by myself, you know, the last several years. I've taken my kid, two of my kids the last 2 years. I have 3 kids, and I'm taking my daughter next year. I obviously keep my distance when I have my kids, and I probably will next year, which is fine because I still feel like I have a lot to improve on, and I think it's good to make sure I'm being cautious and safe, especially my first, you know, several times going. But yeah, if you get a chance, watch Reed's live stream on this day. Oh yeah, this is cool. Blue lightning strike right there. But if you get a chance, watch Reed Timmer's live stream toward the end. It's freaking crazy. Like he's right in this. I mean, he's right in the center of that monster, you know. And he I don't know how his back windshield got shattered. Well, I know how, like, obviously hail is like crazy out here. But one of his side window, like, had like a hole in the side. It's not like it, you know, it's like straight up and down. It's like, it looked like a BB gun shot through it. It's like, how does a hail just like fly that fast sideways? But, you know, the winds were pretty intense, and I'm guessing just a really fast gust of wind just shot a piece of hail or rock or something through there, and it hit him. Yeah, here's the time lapse from the GoPro 10. But thanks for watching, and more to come.